Shri Ganeshaaya Namaha, Shri Saraswatyai Namaha, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam, Namami Bhagavat Pad, Shankaram Loka Shankaram, Shankaram Shankaracharyam, Keshavam Badarayanam, Sutra Bhashkritau Vande, Bhagavantau Punah Punaha, Ishvaro Gururatmeti, Murti Bheda Vibhagine, Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya, दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्। सुखं नित्यं स्वप्रकाशं व्यापकं नामरूपयोः अधिष्ठानं बुद्ध्यबोध्यं बुद्धेर्दृग्यत्तु निर्मलम् अपारं सर्ववेदान्त वेद्यं प्रत्यक्परं महः तदेवाहं न मत्तोऽन्यत् इति मे निश्चिता मतिः। We are seeing the question that was raised on the direct knowledge of Brahman. It was argued that the direct knowledge of Brahman is not possible. Why is it not possible? A set of argument, a set of reason was given. So first it was defined that pratyaksha jnana, the direct knowledge, takes place when indriya, a vritti which is born of indriya, comes in contact with the object of knowledge. So in other words, even though with these terms, even though it was not defined, it was said that for direct knowledge to take place, indriyas are required. And further, it was established that direct knowledge can take place only through sense organs. Conversely, the knowledge that takes place through sense organs is direct knowledge. Brahman, being imperceptible, not being an object of knowledge for senses or sense organs, Brahman cannot be known directly. And otherwise, even though Brahman is known through verbal testimony, that is Shabda Pramana, it is known, or the knowledge of Brahman is Paroksha only. Why is it Paroksha? It is not Pratyaksha because Shabda Pramana is not part of Indriyas. So with all these arguments, there was one thing which was left out, and the important point was the definition of Pratyaksha Pramana, that is direct knowledge. Pratyaksha Jnana, that is direct knowledge. There is no such rule that direct knowledge must take place or direct knowledge takes place only through senses, sense organs. Direct knowledge takes place when the Vishyak vritti comes in contact with its object of knowledge and itself becomes in exact replica of that object or becomes in conforming with that object. At such point, then the knowledge that takes place is called as direct knowledge or pratyaksha jnana. That Vishakara vritti becomes sambaddha. And in this way, now the answer is being given. Brahmajnanasya pratyakshatvopapattih tattvadrustehe brahmanivrittischa. Brahmajnanasya pratyakshatvopapattih. Yes, Brahmajnana can take place and Brahman can be known directly. And the object or the confusion, the doubt which was in the mind of Tattvadrushti, one of those Shishyas, is now being answered. Bahya ghatadibhi sah antahkarana vrittehe sambandha netrendya dwara jayate iti ghatadayah na sakshi bhasyaha. The object which is outside, such as pot. With that pot which is outside, the antahkarana vritti comes in contact with that pot through senses. So senses, our sense organs become means by which antahkarana vritti which is inside goes outside and comes in contact with that pot which is outside. Therefore, that ghata is not sakshi bhasya. It is not sakshi bhasya. It is not illumined by sakshi, but it is illumined by reflected consciousness, that is chidabhasa. अंतःकरण वृत्ति यदा ब्रह्माकारा भवति तदा सा वृत्ति न बहिर्गच्छति किंतु शरीरस्यांतरे एव वर्तते. That antahkarana vritti, when antahkarana vritti becomes brahmakara, exact replica of Brahman, where Vishayakara vritti is not there. Such antahkarana vritti never goes outside through senses. Why does it not go outside through senses? Because Brahman is not somewhere outside, but it is innermost me, myself. Taya vrittya saha, along with that vritti or with that vritti, Brahmanaha sambandha asti. There is a correlation, there is a relation or there is contact between that vritti and Brahman. Now all this we have to put in inverted comma as though. Just for the sake of explanation, we have to understand this. Otherwise, Brahman never comes in contact with anything else. Okay. Tasmat, therefore, Brahmajnanopi Sukha-dukkhaadi jnanamiva pratyaksha rupam bhavati. Therefore, Brahmajnana also is pratyaksha like Sukha and Dukkha. This was the analysis that it is not necessary that vritti has to go outside through eyes, ears, etc. to have direct knowledge. The object which is going to be known directly can be within our mind, within itself. How do you say so? The example was given about the experience of happiness and sorrow. The knowledge that I am sorrowful or I am happy. For that, the object, that is happiness and sorrow. If we are to analyze more intrinsically, more in detail, let's differentiate between knowing that I am happy and the feeling of happiness. Imagine a person who does not know that such and such feeling is called happiness. He will experience that feeling, but will he know? Will he know that he is happy? No. So the object that which is being known is there. But knowledge is different from that object. See, we confuse. Why am I saying this is because we confuse between experiencing happiness and happiness itself. In this way, happiness can be an object. Sorrow can be an object which is known. So, happiness is known. How is it known? It is known through antahkarana vritti. Is happiness outside? No. So, was it required for antahkarana vritti to go outside through sense organs? No. Yet, the vritti which was conforming with happiness came in contact with its object of knowledge, that is happiness itself, within our mind or inside. Therefore, knowledge of happiness and sorrow is pratyaksha, direct. In the same way, antahkarana vritti which is born in our mind, which is the exact replica of Brahman or in conformity with Brahman, Brahmakara vritti, comes in contact with Brahman, which is me, my own Swarupa, my innermost nature, my own true self. And because vritti has come in contact with its object of knowledge, the knowledge that takes place has to be direct, pratyaksha. Therefore, Brahman is being known directly. Here, the direct knowledge of Brahman and directly knowing happiness and sorrow, there is a slight difference which is being explained here by author. Parantu सुखाकार दुखाकार वृत्तिषु बाह्य साधनापेक्षा नास्ति. To experience happiness and sorrow, we do not need external indriyas at all. We don't need them at all. Happiness is within ourselves, in our mind. But for Brahmajnana, it is not so. Now, because happiness and sorrow is experienced within ourselves inside alone, Sukha and Dukkha is Sakshi Bhasya, illumined by Sakshi. Now, for Vritti to be Brahmakara, for my Antahkarana Vritti to be Brahmakara, can it become Brahmakara on its own? No. Even though the object of knowledge is inside, there is avarana. Unless and until that avarana is removed, unless and until somebody tells me, my antahkarana is not going to become Brahmakara. Brahmakara antahkarana vrittau tu Gurumukhat Shruta Vedanta Vakyasya Shrotrendriya Sambandha Rupa Bahya Sadhanam Apekshate. For Brahman to be known, Brahmakara Antahkarana Vritti, when Antahkarana Vritti becomes Brahmakara, what is happening is, when Antahkarana Vritti becomes Brahmakara, for Antahkarana Vritti to become Brahmakara, what was the cause? That Mahavakya, you are Brahman, was heard by ears, which was uttered, that statement was uttered by a guru. So competent guru told or taught his student, Shishya, who himself was competent, that you are Brahman. And that statement was heard through ears. So ears are required as accessory means, if you want to say, for that Brahmakara Antahkarana Vritti to take place. Otherwise, or if you say somebody read, then let's consider eyes. But because ours is Shruta Parampara, these statements were never read, they were always heard. And of course, they are required to be heard. Just by reading, unless you are an avatar or an extremely extraordinary person, you have to listen to that Mahavakya from a competent guru to gain Brahmajnana. Okay, that's again totally different topic. But the point here being made is, you need external senses. Therefore, the knowledge of Brahman is not Sakshi Bhasya. Now, Tasmat Brahma na Sakshi Bhasyam. Itham yatra vishayena sah vrittihi sambaddha bhavati tatra pratyaksha jnanam bhavati. When vritti comes in contact with its object of knowledge, direct knowledge takes place, and same is the case which is happening here in Brahmakara vritti. Therefore, aham brahmasmiti vrittehe vishayena brahmana sah sambandha satvad brahmajnanam pratyaksham bhavitum arhati. Because this aham brahmasmi vritti is coming in contact with its object of knowledge, that is Brahman, direct knowledge of Brahman does take place. Now understand one thing here. When Brahma Jnana or Brahma is not Sakshi Bhasya when it is said so, it is from one particular standpoint. Understand how the differentiation has been made, whether sense organs are required or not. In reality, Brahman cannot be Sakshi Bhasya or Chirabhasya Bhasya. Why? It is Swasamvedya, it is self-luminous. But for the sake of differentiation, from the standpoint of how knowledge takes place, this difference or this bheda, distinction has been made. To emphasize what Pratyaksha Jnana is and why this definition of Pratyaksha Jnana is more accurate and must be taken to, author is explaining further. Yatra dhuma darshanena vahni jnanam jayate tatra dhuma jnanam pratyaksham vahni jnanam tu na pratyaksham. Where there is smoke, there is fire. I see smoke on mountain somewhere far away. That means I infer that there is fire. Now, have I seen fire with my eyes? No. But I have inferred by looking at smoke. Yatra dhuma darshanena vahni jnanam jayate. By looking at smoke, when I come to know that there is fire, there, dhuma, smoke is being directly known, not the fire. Chakshuh dwara, chakshur dwara, nirgantantah karana vruttehe, dhumena sa sambandhaha asti. The vritti which has as though gone out through eyes has come in contact with that smoke, and therefore ataha dhuma jnanam pratyaksham ityuchyate. Knowledge of that smoke is pratyaksha. Linga jnana रूपानुमान प्रमाण जन्यांतःकरण वृत्तिः शरीरस्यान्तरे वह्न्याकारं भजते. Linga jnana rupa. Linga jnana rupa. Linga is indicator. Jnana, knowledge. A knowledge which acts as an indicator. And by acting as an indicator, what is happening is it acts as anumana pramana. And by that anumana pramanantahkarana vrittihi, vahni, fire is known inside within ourselves. Sharirasya within ourselves, that vritti further modifies to become vahnyakara. Na hi vrittehe. Now the knowledge is of fire. Understand? How do we express it is totally different point. There is fire. We never say I am seeing fire. We say there is fire. So the existence of fire is being known. But has that antahkarana vritti which gives us knowledge, or that vahnyakara vritti, the vritti by which we know there is fire, has that vritti come in contact with fire itself? No. Therefore, vahni jnana, knowledge of fire, is not pratyaksha. Knowledge of fire is not pratyaksha. Let's recreate this experience within our mind. How the progression takes place. We say, oh, I see smoke. Look, there is smoke. So there must be fire which is burning. Or that place must be on fire. Or there is fire somewhere nearby. Is it not? So we have come to know about fire. We know that fire is, but have we seen that fire? No. So even though the vritti of fire or the jnana of fire, Agni, Vahni has taken place, that jnana is not pratyaksha. Itham, in this way, यत्र वृत्त्या सह विषयस्य संबंधः भवति तत्र प्रत्यक्ष ज्ञानं भवति. Therefore, when that vritti comes in contact with its object of knowledge, the knowledge that takes place is pratyaksha. यत्र वृत्त्या सह विषयस्य संबंधः न भवति तत्र परोक्ष ज्ञानं भवति. When that vritti does not come in contact with its object of knowledge, the knowledge that takes place is paroksha. Yatra. Now, this statement is very much important, and we have to understand this to differentiate between pratyaksha, paroksha, and later on aparoksha. यत्र विषयः देशान्तरस्थः नष्टः वा भावी वा तत्र अनुमानेन शब्देन वा विषयाकारा वृत्तिः शरीरस्यान्तरे एव भवति तदा उत्पद्यमानं ज्ञानं परोक्षमित्युच्यते. इन्द्रियजन्य ज्ञानमेव प्रत्यक्षम् इति न नियमः. The Vishaya, when the object of knowledge is somewhere else, or understand Deshantarastha in this way, outside the capacity of my senses, outside the capacity of my senses, there, the knowledge that takes place the knowledge that takes place is paroksha. Why am I saying outside the capacity of our senses? Because now we have instruments by which we can enhance the capacity of our senses. Like to say earlier, microorganisms were never seen, but in detail now they can be studied through microscope, etc. Now with microscope, we have enhanced our capacity to see an object. So when we are seeing under microscope, the knowledge that is taking place is direct knowledge. Keeping all this aside, whatever that is known, so deshantarastha, somewhere which is far outside the capacity of my senses. For my ears, I cannot see if an object or sound which is created somewhere far away. But if it is being made on a loudspeaker, of course I can hear. That's why outside the capacity of our senses. Or it is nashta, it is totally destroyed. So something from past which no more exists, or which is going to be there in future. Such object is known by anumana, by inference, or by shabda, verbal testimony, when somebody tells me. So, and the knowledge that takes place, that Vishakara vritti, is in our sharira, it's inside only. But the knowledge that takes place is paroksha. The knowledge that takes place is paroksha. Therefore, there is no such rule that for pratyaksha jnana to take place, indriyas are necessary, or through indriyas alone, direct knowledge, pratyaksha jnana takes place. Sukha dukkhadi jnanam indriyajanyam api, indriya ajanyam, indriyajanyam. Pratyakshameva bhavati. The knowledge of happiness and sorrow, even though it is not born of senses, it is pratyaksha. Dashama purusha jnanam shabdajanyam api pratyakshameva bhavati. The knowledge of 10th man, that I am that 10th man which I thought was lost. This knowledge, even though born of shabda pramana, verbal testimony, not born of senses, is pratyaksha. And by this logic, anena nyayena Shri Sadguru Mukhat Shruta Mahavakya Rupa Vedanta Shabdajanya Brahmadjnanam api pratyakshameva bhavati. Brahmadjnana, which is born because of Mahavakya, which is heard from a competent guru, that knowledge, that Brahmadjnana, is direct knowledge of Brahman. Now, throughout this whole analysis, deliberately author has used the word pratyaksha. Why? To simplify and to make easier for our understanding. Even though the topic has not been taken up in detail here, let's just clear this idea, this concept, and we will go further. What type of knowledge will take place? And when I say type of knowledge, I am not referring to pramana, but I am referring to the nature of knowledge. That is, whether it is pratyaksha, whether it is paroksha, or otherwise another thing as we know it as aparoksha, will depend upon the pramana as well as, more importantly, the nature of the object of knowledge. If, as we have seen earlier, an object is from past, from future, or outside the capacity of my senses, the knowledge of such object will always be paroksha. If the object is within the capacity of my senses, or that object comes in contact with that vritti, is pratyaksha. But if that object is me, myself, even though the word pratyaksha can be used, it is insufficient to explain and differentiate that knowledge from pratyaksha. Why? Because even though Brahman can be categorized as being known pratyaksha, there is a difference. Why? And what is the difference? It is me, myself. Triputi is no more there. In Pratyaksha Jnana, invariably you have to understand the Triputi. You cannot give up Triputi and say Pratyaksha, there is Pratyaksha Jnana. Where Triputi is lost, the knowledge must be aparoksha. Knowledge has to be aparoksha. Why? Because the object also is aparoksha, me, myself. So having explained in this way, when all this analysis was heard by Shishya, what happened is, Shri Sadguroho evam vidham upadesham shrutva buddhiman uttamadhikari tattvadrushtihi swatmanam brahmarupena viritva Bheda Brahmam Vijahau. When that Tattva Drushti, the first student, first Shishya, heard this Upadesha, heard his teaching from Guru, the Shishya himself was Uttamadhikari, the most qualified student. He knew himself to be Brahman and he gave up all the doubts and delusions which were in his mind. And he knew himself that Aham Brahma iti vrittau niravaranam Brahma bhati. And in that Aham Brahma vritti, Brahman shined without any veiling or obstructions. Niravaranam. Without any obstructions, without any veiling. So Ajnana was totally destroyed. And afterwards, Tattvadrushtihi evam vacha. Tattvadrushti said thus, Niravarana nirbhasam aham brahmeti buddhavan Shri Sadguru prasadena yakhandakara vrittitaha. Niravarana nirbhasam. Niravaranam nirbhasam. Niravarana nirbhasam. Niravarana. Without any avarana. Nirbhasam. Without any bhasa. Without any delusion. Or without any covering. So now, in me myself, which I am Brahman, in that Brahman, neither there is avarana nor there is vikshepa. So I knew myself to be Brahman, or I knew Brahman without ajnana, without avarana, that is veiling and projection. How? Shri Sadguroho prasadena. By prasada, because of Sadguru, my teacher. And how did I come to know about it? Akhandakara vrittitaha. Akhandakara vritti. In form of Akhandakara vritti. So the knowledge took place in form of Akhandakara vritti. With this, the fourth chapter is over. Let's quickly go through what all topics which we covered in this fourth chapter. In detail, the entire fourth chapter we'll be seeing next time. All the important points which are there, all those we'll be seeing in our next lecture. But before, let's go through the topics which were covered and how did we start. So first, it started with story that Shubha Santati, then the king, he had those putra, Tattvadrushti, Adrushti, Tarkadrushti, three students, three sons. They all went to Guru and sought Brahmajnana. Then there, the question was raised about Mumukshu. Who is a Mumukshu? Jnaninaha api vishayeshu ichha. Who will seek, who will desire to know Brahman? The question was, who will desire to know Brahman? Then, does Brahmajnani desires objects, Vishaya, or does he experience happiness from Vishaya? From here, the topic shifted to Brahma, Anirvachaniya, Khyati, Akhyati, etc. The nature of Maya. Well, how should we understand this Ajnana or this Maya? And where Anirvachaniya Khyati was established. This Maya is inexplicable. This Maya is inexplicable. There, in detail, the cause-effect relationship was explained, and afterwards, we came to Kutastha, etc. In Anirvachaniya Khyati, it was established that where Brahma takes place, how Brahma takes place, and who has Brahma. Jiva, Kutastha, the Antahkarana Vritti, the substratum of that Antahkarana Vritti, which is Kutastha or Brahman, all these topics were covered. Then, when rope is being known, what happens? When the snake is being known, what happens? And how in one and the same rope, multiple projections are possible. How one and the same rope can be seen by different people as rope, garland, a crack in earth, or stream of water, etc. And by this, what is the cause for that Brahma was established. Afterwards, that same discussion came to Mit Samsara and Mithyatva of Samsara. Further, a question was raised. Yes, this ignorance is the cause, or ignorance is the reason for my sorrow. How can this ignorance be removed? Where karma and upasana was answered that it is not possible by karma and upasana, it will be because of Brahmajnana alone. Then further, there the nature of Jiva, Kutastha, Ishvara and Brahman was explained with Chaturvidha Akasha, four types of Akasha. With again Chidabhasa reflected in Ishvara, their Maya, under the power of Maya and under the power of Avidya. This differentiation between Chidabhasa and Ishvara was explained. The nature of Ishvara. Then Dva Suparna Shruti, the two birds, how that Shruti should be understood. What are those two birds? Was explained. How Brahma Nasha takes place, how the delusion is removed, how the destruction of that delusion takes place was explained, and Atiharsha. So with Atiharsha, those 7 steps of knowledge or Jiva were finished. Which were they? Ajnana, Avarana, Vikshepa, Paroksha Jnana, Aparoksha Jnana, Bhrantinasha or Dukkhanasha, and Ananda Nubhava. There is ignorance. Because of ignorance, there is veiling and there is projection. Then Paroksha Jnana takes place, Aparoksha Jnana takes place, and after Aparoksha Jnana, there is Dukkha Nivrutti and there is Paramananda Prapti, destruction of sorrow and gaining of unsurpassed happiness. Then again a question was raised. Will Sakshi Chidabhasayoho Yugapadbhanam, in that Aham Vritti, can Sakshi and Chidabhasa known together at the same time? Then we came to means of knowledge. Why? Because means of knowledge were required to be explained. Then whether memory is pramana or not, then it was correlated that memory is nothing but ignorance alone. The cause for memory is ignorance, as same as snake being superimposed on rope. Then Abhasavada, Avachedavada, that topic was taken up. What is the distinction between them and which is better than the other? For the teaching for the sake of teaching and for the sake of explanation. There again, in the end, the topic started, can Brahman be known directly? Then there was a discussion that yes, Avatara Sharira, Avatara Purusha. Consider this as subtopic of this whole main topic. And in the end, from the standpoint of Siddhanta, it was explained that yes, Brahmajnana, Brahman can be known directly. Why? Because the definition of Pratyaksha is not the knowledge gained through senses, but when that vritti, jnana vritti, comes in contact with its object of knowledge. That knowledge is Pratyaksha. With this, the fourth topic is over. The fifth topic we will start next time. Quickly, one more important announcement. On next Saturday, the lecture will not be there. On next Saturday, this class will not be there. It will be week afterwards. So our next class will be on 4th of June.
Sir, when you spoke about Akhanda Karavritti, by which the Brahman is known, would you kindly explain that little bit? And Triputi, you referred to Triputi.
Yes. So Triputi is known object of knowledge. The group of three is Triputi. And Akhandakara Vritti, again, see, Akhandakara Vritti, as we had seen when we are seeing Mahavakya, Vritti or thought modification because of which we come to know pot is Ghatakara Vritti. Why? Because Vritti has become Akar of Ghata in conformity of replica of Ghata, pot. But when Vritti becomes the exact replica of Brahman, what should we call it? Of course, Brahmakara Vritti, or the other name which is given to that vritti is Akhandakara. Why? Because there is no break. Akhanda, limitless. And by that, so if you are to understand, see, Akhandakara vritti, it is difficult. Sometimes when something is being told positively, it is difficult to grasp. So to simplify, what is Akhandakara vritti or Brahmakara vritti? Vritti is part of our mind. When there is no Vishakara vritti of any form in our mind, the mind which is there, and there is no Ajnana vritti also, that state of mind is Akhandakara or Brahmakara, where no Vishakara vritti of any sort is there. Why? If there is Vishakara vritti, there is Khanda. That way. And because of that Akhandakara vritti, what happens is Avarana is removed. Avarana on Brahman is removed.
When we say Brahman is not known by the sense organs, you see, because it's not outside, it's internal.
Yes.
So when we say, and yet we say Sakshatkara it's something that is experiential from within.
Yes.
And that is when we say it's, Brahma Sakshatkar, when we say it is entirely internal. It is nothing to do with our external experiences.
Yes, nothing.
But when the Guru's word is heard, Mahavakya, that is Shravya, is it not? We are hearing. You say that is Shabda Pramana does not give you a Paroksha Jnana. Paroksha Jnana.
Shabda Pramana can give you Paroksha or Aparoksha based on the object of knowledge. This topic again will come later. We will take this in detail next time. Okay. We will conclude here a little bit early today.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya Om samastaloka sukhino bhavantu. Samastaloka sukhino bhavantu. Samastaloka sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.